Bruce Falk, and we're here with Liz Sadowski, who's running for the Ulbricn County Commission, and Mary Ward is running for a state rep, and Casandra Ulbrich is running for state senator. And so the first question is, this is the first time I'm aware of that all three of the candidates for these offices are women. So Casandra, why don't we start with you, and why don't you talk about what that might mean in this election?
Well, I think it's really exciting that we have so many women, not just in this area, but across the state, who are interested in serving the public. And the reason that it's important is because, while I would never say that a woman is uniquely qualified simply because of her gender, because I think we know that there are many instances where that's not the case, I do think that women bring a unique perspective to any table, and when that perspective is absent, we all lose. Men, women, everybody. And so I think it's really important that we have a diverse mix of individuals who are talking about the issues of the state, and so it's really important that we have both men and women at the head of the table.
Okay, so Mary, I know this is your first time running for office, so why don't you talk about why you got in the race, and if you think you have an advantage, being a woman in the race.
I got into the race because I was becoming more and more distraught with the state of Michigan's economy and the environment and the state of our education. So instead of wondering about it and thinking about it and stewing about it, I thought I'm going to get in there and try to make a difference. And so that's why I'm here.
Okay, and Liz, you've never run for office either, but I know your father was a congressman. So tell us about why you got in the race, and if what you think that you bring to the race as a woman.
My father was George Sadowski from the U.S. 1st Congressional District some years ago. I'm a family law attorney, and I have been practicing family law in this area and representing our families for over 25 years. I am very, very concerned about what's happening to them in the light of these terrible economic times. I truly believe that there is a lot that I can do for families as a county commissioner. There are things that haven't been explored yet. I believe I have a particular expertise and knowledge of what's going on in people's lives because I deal with people in family crises every day.
Okay, and I know we talked a little bit off the record, but why don't you tell us, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you'd like to address, and we'll start with Liz, as far as being a county commissioner, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you'd like to go after?
We need to get our families back to work. We have a phenomenal workforce here in Ulbricn County, Michigan. We have such a great, a blessing in disguise, an untapped wealth of energy here among people who have been laid off, who are degreed and talented and skilled and have just amazing things to offer, and they are not being they're not being gathered. We need to have a way to centrally coalesce our people together, and we can put together a good workforce. Green is gold. I truly believe that green energy is going to be our salvation. There is so much we can do for this in this community, in this county, in this state, in this country, and in this world if we would simply gather our forces together in the right direction and be able to take advantage of the crying needs that are out there. Small businesses can prosper. Small businesses bring jobs. Jobs go to families, they bring family wealth, they rescue us from homes in foreclosure and so much of the dark days that our families are looking at. We need to bring each other together. We can do this. It's not a political thing. Everybody is suffering right now, and it's a darn shame that nobody so far has been able to really look this problem in the face and figure out what to do about it. I have some good ideas, some great plans that I want to present to our people through the grass level efforts that only a county commissioner can bring.
Okay, thank you, Liz. And Mary, what are the top 1 or 2 issues? I know jobs.
I agree with Liz. We need jobs in Michigan, and we need to use the unique environment Michigan has. We have a manufacturing base, and we just don't have expertise in automobiles. Those people can be used to design, make dyes. All the skilled tradesmen can just do other things with that. And green energy is a great idea, like the electric battery that we're bringing in lots and lots of business with that. and then go right into our cars. We need to have people know that Michigan has lots of educated people. We have great colleges here and great research areas. We also have the Great Lakes and a beautiful area for people to live and hike, and the water is a great resource that people are going to want more than oil someday. So we've got to market Michigan as a great place for businesses to come and get our people back to work.
Okay, and Casandra.
Well, obviously I agree with both of my colleagues here. I think job and economic diversification has to be job number one for the state of Michigan. We have relied on single industries for entirely too long, and we need to start investing in those things that are actually job creators. Right now we're unfortunately de-investing in the things that could really get us out of this economic slump that we're in. For example, higher education. I talk about this all the time. I'm on the State Board of Education. I work for Wayne State University. We have one of the finest higher education systems in the country, right here in the state of Michigan, and yet every year we de-invest in our higher education system to the point where we're now 49th out of 50 states in increased investment in higher ed. And the reason that this is important, two reasons. One, if you look at those states that have the highest economic development and per capita income, they have completely different tax structures, they have completely different geographies, they have completely different climates, but the one thing they have in common is the number of adults with a four-year degree. And Michigan, unfortunately, is 34th in the nation when it comes to adults with a four-year degree. At one point that wasn't such a big problem for us because we were still doing very well economically, but that's not the case anymore, and we're sliding backwards to the point where we'll be in the bottom 10 within a year or two if we don't do something different. And the second reason that that's important is because our higher education institutions actually create jobs. They are creating the cutting-edge technology and the research that can be commercialized into new industries and new companies that will hire high-paid, high-skilled workforce. If we don't invest in them, that will never happen. You know, why reinvent the wheel when we have the best right here? Let's just take care of it.
Okay, last question. I guess I'll just go real quick for each one of you. It seems like there's a really bright line this year between what Democrats want to do and what Republicans want to do. So where do you think that bright line is I guess, where's the bright line brightest? What issue do you think kind of defines Democrats and Republicans this time? We'll start with Casandra, I guess.
Wow, that's a huge question, Bruce. I think there's a lot of issues that define the difference between Democrats and Republicans. But I think the bottom line is, you know, Democrats want to invest in those things that are going to move our state forward. And investment is not a four-letter word. We need to look at the things that are actually going to produce results and make investments in those things. Republicans want to cut, just cut, and cut it across the board. I happen to believe that prioritizing is really important. Cutting across the board is easy, and it's the efficient thing to do, but it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So, you know, to me, that's the big difference between Democrats and Republicans.
Okay. Mary?
My thinking behind all of this is that I think we need to have a strong middle class. I think we are emphasizing too much businesses and not enough bringing jobs to people so that they have a good pay and families aren't so distressed. I'm a school teacher and I see great economic distress manifesting itself in the children. I've had many phone calls with parents that feel like they're single parents. Their husbands are getting called out of town. Their husbands have to live out of town for a week and they come back on the weekends. There's a lot of distress here. We've got to bring jobs back to Michigan, good paying middle class jobs, so that we can have normal family life and normal living in Michigan again.
Okay.
You know the old saying, attitude is everything? There's a lot of truth in that. The Democrats have a much more positive attitude than the Republicans. We don't live in the past, we look in the future. That's why they call us progressives, because we want to progress, we want to go forward with good ideas and positive ideas. We're the party of hope. We're the party of good ideas, great ideas. That's the difference.
Okay, great. Thank you, ladies.